Good morning, colleagues. Colleagues. Get it right eventually, aye. Welcome to our Standards, Procedures and Public Appointments Committee meeting, the 7th one in 2013. We have apologies from John Lamont, MSP, and I would also like to say just a short couple of words about Brian Adam, who was a fellow committee member who died very recently, and I attended his funeral in Aberdeen last Friday. Brian was a great friend and a great colleague, and I think if we can maybe just be silent for a short while, just in memory of Brian. Thank you. Now, if we can move on, well, first of all, if we can make sure we've got our Blackberries and phones switched off, that would be really helpful. I managed to remember to put mine off before the meeting today. I normally say this and then remember I've got to do my own one. And if we can move on to agenda item 1, which is a decision on taking business in private. This is to do with the work programme, agenda item 6. So do members agree to take agenda item 6 in private? Yeah, thank you very much. Now that takes us on to agenda item 2, cross-party groups. We'll be taking evidence this morning from Claire Adamson, MSP, and welcome to the Standards, Procedures and Public Appointments Committee, Claire. And thank you for your application for the cross-party group. Do members have, you have the paper here, and I just wonder if members have any questions for Claire in relation to the application for the cross-party group. Richard, yes.
Good morning, Claire. Your application is, I would suggest, excellent, and it follows on from Margaret's template, I'm sure. But can you tell me why, or can you tell the committee why you see the need for this group?
I think in the area of accident prevention and safety awareness, I think Scotland has some particular problems. Notably, we had 8 deaths on our hills last year, which was one of the worst seasons that we've had in Scotland. Our rate of fire deaths in Scotland is particularly high as well. And in 2011, the Scotsman published an article called entitled "The Poor in Scotland are twice as likely to die in accidents than the middle class." And actually, I believe it's a big social justice issue, because people from socially deprived areas are attending accident emergencies and being killed more frequently than other areas. And this is an area that I don't think we fully understand in Scotland. So I think that there's a lot of excellent work being done by some of the stakeholders in this area. I recently attended the Scottish Youth Theatre, who had a promotion going on with Network Rail in the areas where they're electrifying their lines. And Young Scot and the Scottish Youth Theatre were working with primary school and early secondary school children in teaching them about safety awareness. But what was completely evident to me is what they were teaching the children was better awareness, empathy for people that might be involved in an accident, like train drivers, and really tackling their decision-making processes, which are completely transferable skills for young people across all areas of safety in their lives. So I think it's a really important message that we could be doing a lot more to promote in Scotland.
And I noticed, actually, if you carry on, Candina, thank you, you've actually listed quite a number of groups and organisations which I think your group can draw on. And so during the meetings that you're having, how many organisations would you intend to have at an average meeting?
Well, we would intend to invite as many stakeholders as possible, depending on the capacity that we have in this area. When I was an elected councillor, I was on the Scottish Accident Prevention Council, nominated there by my council, and I was chair of their Home Safety Committee. And I know that there was a great interest in the meetings attended in those areas. Up until now, we haven't had a cross-party group available in the Scottish Parliament, and I know many of the stakeholders have indicated that they would be interested in coming along. And I know that the ROSPA, who have volunteered to be the secretariat of the proposed group, also are involved in the Westminster group, and they find that a very, very successful group.
Thank you.
I'd just like to applaud the work that you're doing, because I think it's a really important aspect of our whole involvement and engagement with our constituents and people across Scotland, and you're right to highlight all those cases that you've highlighted. I know in my own local constituency, for example, in Shell, they have a policy that everybody that goes downstairs must hold on to handrails, and that's, you know, a policy issue, and, you know, it's sort of rippled out to other people in the community, and I think it's really very sensible. But I was very impressed by the suggested membership. So I take it that's membership that you're writing to, but they haven't yet accepted.
The individual members at the start of the early part of it, I have spoken to, and I have all indicated a definite interest in it. What ROSPA suggested was that given their experience in the Westminster cross-party group, that they would suggest people who are members of ROSPA who they thought would be involved, but obviously they would be invited along with other stakeholders as well. There are many others, the New Scottish Fire Service, the Police Service, some COSLA, all these organisations I think would also be interested.
And if I may convene, another question is, I believe I'm right in saying that health and safety at work is a reserved matter for Westminster, but nevertheless I think that it's something that I just wondered if you maybe had the intentions. I noticed that you've got the STUC down here, but I wondered if you maybe had the thought in mind to include some of the other trade unions as well, because I know that many of them have health and safety full-time officials, and I just feel that they could play an important part in educating people on a lot of the issues as well. I just wondered if that was in your mind to do that.
We certainly haven't. We've tried to make the group as open as possible to all areas of safety, including health, although health and safety at work is a reserved issue. There are lots of safety messages there that are equally important for the Scottish context. So we haven't excluded anyone at this point in time. I would suggest it's such a huge area, though. Obviously, you know, we're taking baby steps at the moment, but there is a possibility for a subgroup or another interest group to look at specific areas of work interest. But for the moment, we would intend that, although that was included, we also want to look at leisure and home safety and these other issues too.
Glad to hear that. I just wish you well in the work, and I hope that we approve it this morning.
Claire, it's a very wide-ranging remit that you've got here to promote all aspects of safety through safety awareness and accident prevention. And as it was touched on just now in your exchange with Helen, there's a very, very wide range of issues, and I applaud you in taking this forward. I've had some experience of some of these things myself as a trading standards officer. I was involved in home safety in the past and consumer safety, and I've been I led the campaign on the level crossings, the open level crossings in the north, and we're now getting barriers, and that's great. You know, so there's a huge range of different things, and I'm conscious as well that there are some other cross-party groups that you might impinge on as you look at these different issues. Would it be your intention to, if you're considering something that would impinge on the area of another cross-party group, to maybe have joint meetings with those groups or to link with those groups when you're considering those types of things?
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's such a huge area. Certainly the Health and Sport Committee would be, the sport cross-party group in sports would be one that was absolutely crucial to working with, because so many of the areas of leisure cover that area. Also, there's a cross-party group on marine leisure as well, which I believe Stuart McMillan is the chair of that cross-party group. So obviously all those areas impinge on safety. I think what we're trying to do with this group is sort of raise the awareness of safety in all aspects of life and everything that we're doing in Scotland to improve the safety of people, and have that focus of it to bring together. But certainly there's plenty of cross-party groups where stakeholders would be interested, and I would hope to work with my colleagues in that area.
Any other questions from members? No? Well, thank you very much, Claire, for attending. We'll make our decision later on in the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Convener.
Now that takes us on to agenda item 3, which is for the committee to consider a change of purpose for the cross-party group on drug and alcohol misuse. The change is a fairly simple change. It's to include the word alcohol in the purpose of the group. you'll see from your papers that Kezia Dugdale has said that the reason alcohol was missed out was an administrative error when the group was being set up, and it's always been part of their purpose to deal with both drug and alcohol. It's arguable, I suppose, alcohol is a drug, so I suppose drug abuse would include alcohol. Do members have any views on this change? Yeah. You're all quite happy with it? Yeah? Okay. Thank you very much. It takes us on to agenda item 4, which is for us to discuss the evidence we heard from Claire Adamson on the proposed cross-party group on accident prevention and safety awareness. Do members have any comments, Dick?
Convener, I think it's an excellent presentation. I think Claire spoke to the purpose. I know, having known Claire for years, the commitment she has in regards to accident prevention, and she's quite right. On North Lanarkshire Council, she was appointed as the council's representative, which was quite unusual, but it was because of her involvement, and I would certainly agree and request that we support that.
Members happy with that? Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. That's approved. If we can now move on to agenda item 5, our annual report. The committee is required to produce a report each year, as you know, under Standing Order Rule 12.9. You have the report in front of you there. Do members have any comments? Do you have any changes you want to make, any additions or whatever? Members happy with the report as it stands? Yeah. I think it shows actually, you know, the range of things that we've been involved in over the past year, and there's a lot. I think when you're doing it week to week, you don't realise how much ground we're actually covering, and I think it's a very good report by the clerks, so that's now approved. Thank you very much. That's the end of the public session of the committee. We'll now move into private.